Hello, hello, on New York City Wrestling, June 2023 of our New York City Wrestling series. And with this show is a big show. We are going to drop our three lowest momentum workers, two of which have been company mainstays. Unfortunately, maybe the blacklist exemption. I'm going to make a rule now. The blacklist exemption brings a half of a tag team. Maybe it brings back the whole tag team. I'm thinking that as a possibility because I look at things as an act. So if I have, the LA Stars, let's say that's them, they're an act. But also, I kind of like the idea of bringing in one. So we'll see. Nonetheless, we are in the pre-show. We have Hell's Bouncer defeat Dominic DeGraff. Also in the pre-show, we have Original Center defeat Penfold Peridian. And then finally in the pre-show, we have Mass Mauler defeat Buzz Reed. We start off the show with Matt Stranger defeating Sergeant Bubba Lee West. Matt Stranger just picking up another win over lower mid-card heel. Last month was Buzz Reed. This time Sergeant Bubba Lee West. So look forward to him continuing that win streak. Not a win streak of what we're counting, but more or less just get him a match on the card. Not always. We need everybody to be in angles, which right now we have a lot of angles that are very, very uh, time consuming and long and deep. We then conclude a kind of storyline with Primetime Jack Pride and Malcolm Milk, or really it's the end of the introduction of Primetime Jack Pride. He gets his second win over Malcolm Milk, leaving the series 2-1, putting a button on Primetime Jack Pride versus Malcolm Milk. And it's really just to put across Primetime has arrived, and maybe it's time he starts getting some wins behind him. We can get him up the card to then be in some angles, or honestly find him a tag partner. We then go to angle with Fuyoka, kind of challenging the women on roster, Joanna Silver, Joy Ryder, Zuria Servard, and Ruby Reese to bring their best, or they'll never beat her. These five women have been with us for a while, and they honestly maybe for a while even more, maybe not, I don't know. Um, but Fuyoka is looking for competition, calls it out. We then have Saeed Ali kind of paying his respects to Ryan McManus. Ryan McManus defeated Saeed Ali in a strap match, so this is just Saeed kind of paying his respects, basically saying that, hey, you were the better man last month. It is what it is. This is possibly the conclusion of the feud between Saeed Ali and Ryan McManus, leaving at one apiece, just to not always have a winner and loser, kind of that 50-50 booking that everybody loves. But honestly, I think this is fitting where Saeed Ali debuts strong and Ryan McManus gets the win, although Saeed's protected because it's just a strap match touching the four corners. We then go to Kip Keenan and Brutus Milano. Kip Keenan defeating Brutus Milano, the belly belly suplex. Unfortunately, they rolled bad chem, rats. Um, but with it, to get Kip Keenan started with a feud and watch for him and Brutus to, even though they have bad chemistry, possibly to have another matchup or two, and then even an angle later to show. Again, just to start getting Kip angles to get over. We then go to Diva Arnold and Egon Merowitz kind of trying to cheer up Dominic DeGraff, who lost to House Bouncer in the pre-show. He's been left out of the tag team scene between the three of them, as Egon and Deaver are a tag team, and so it's starting to build not dissension among the ranks, but kind of putting over that Dominic is the lesser of the three. We then go to the Militia defeating the boys from Yukon, with Desert Storm defeating Whitehurst Whitaker. The boys from Yukon, I did everything I can do, I think, to keep them around. They're, one of our last remaining 7. Sorry, I had to pause. Last of our remaining 7 OGs or so. I don't want to count right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 OGs. They're last remaining of that 8. 2, so we're down to 6 OGs, and grateful for having them as tag team. They had a tag title reign. It's just did what we can do. sometimes gotta, cut them. Maybe they'll go to PSW where they'll fit more in PSW in our company. We then go to Father Cobra, defeating Hawkeye Calhoun with the Viper Vice. Um, Hawkeye Calhoun, pretty good performance. Father Cobra, best performance. I don't know about that. Really good match, 57 rating, but it's to Hawkeye Calhoun. We're playing up to the fact that original Center Hell's Bouncer put a number to him, so Father Cobra gets to kind of play with him a little bit more, and Hawkeye Calhoun yet again cannot win the big one. Now this isn't the end of this angle. This is a legacy angle, which if you've seen that legacy, that means this is a long-term, possible multi-step angle, such as the angle with Mutant into Jack Bruce. We then, like I said, it's not the end of the angle. We then go into Father Cobra is going to let Hawkeye Calhoun consider his options, kind of leaving the leaf out there that hey, you can join us, or this is going to continue. Me and my boys are going to beat you up. We have Brutus Milano and Duke Hazard ambushing Kip Keenan backstage as a way to continue this match program into next month. We have Zippy and Justice defeat LA Stars. This time it's LA Star number 2 and LA Star number 1. LA Star number 2 actually just leaves the apron mid-match, and LA Star number 1 loses to Zippy, who was using the ropes for leverage. And then post-match, we have LA Star number 2 walking away from LA Star number 1. Not an official heel turn, but it's very clear the LA Stars are done. Then, in an all-time great angle, Mutant finally talks, letting Jack Bruce know who is the king of New York City Wrestling and who is the king of the Wasteland. Over that, okay, Mutant is undefeated. He is the rightful number 1 contender, and Xavier Reckless took his spot, so he better watch out. But finally, alright, I couldn't tell if I was paused or if I was recording. Sorry if you heard me yawn. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here. But, wanted to get this in before I go to bed. Now, we had James Diaz, kind of going to reset that last minute. James Diaz defeats Bull Wrecker, finally debuting in the company with an Asian thumb spike. Still hate that render, don't like that finisher. In-ring performance 28 with, no popularity. Pretty good. James Diaz is consistently somebody who gets not really good, but gets good with time. So for us to get him off the blacklist and original center, been pretty much a good payoff. Lucas Acrimony, not the biggest payoff, but really decent match leading to our main event of Xavier Reckless defeating Austin Smooth, becoming the new New York City Wrestling Empire title. So the story here is Austin Smooth wasn't taking Xavier Reckless serious because he's not the rightful number 1 contender in his eyes. It's Mutant, but Mutant was quote unquote stripped of that number 1 contendership, leading to Xavier Reckless being the next man up, as he's had a good 2023, and Xavier picks up the win. But at the end of the show, we have Mutant attacking and spearing Xavier Reckless standing tall. At the end of the show, obviously setting up for next month and months beyond. Now with this show, the one thing I do want to say is we have made a lot of eggs in the Mutant basket right now. So if he was signed away or anything like that, I would be devastated. Probably more so than anybody else being signed away. I have Tennessee William, because I never really invested in the character because I figured he's going to be signed away. But from top to bottom, we had a really good show in a sense. Not every match is important, but that first half of the show is just matches to get people on the card. Then really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The last half, well, not even half, the last 75% was to get people involved and to boost our angles and things like that. I'm pretty happy with that show. I think best rating to date, which, 68 Nothing really, not gonna sit here and like, brag and be like woohoo about. I'm happy enough with it. Now, in regards to the game world, there was two free agents recently. Freddie Huggins was one. I was like, oh, mid 70s popularity, pretty decent in ring still. Only 38. Try to sign him when we can. We go to sign him. USPW steals him away. But, and this unfortunate but here, there was a contract that expired of USPW's of a one Tommy Cornell, who is too popular to join our company. If you look here, Tommy Cornell would be a wonderful fit in a company. And boy, I wish I would be able to sign him, but he's just not um, interested because he's just too popular, which I kind of understand and respect. Now, post show, we did go up a full popularity point from um, the month before into this month. So we are now 11 away in tri-state and 7 away from our secondary state to being medium. So when we hit medium, that's when I'm going to sign people to the roster so we can start doing house shows. And that's when we are going to not, well, we're not going to rush to do TV shows weekly. I think still. We'll have to see the finances end of it. But, I mean, the game world is rising, so I kind of want to do it before it gets too hot, but I don't want to get burnt out um, talking about this and, doing 4 shows a month and then, 9 shows, an event and doing it. Not complaining. I can just see that leading to burnout. But in regards to this last show, let's kind of look over every Austin Smooth. His popularity didn't get really hit too much. Xavier Reckless brought out, which I think 52 is the cap for our company size. If I had a bet, Mutant 50 popularity already without even winning the title or fighting for it. Hawkeye Calhoun didn't take a big hit, but did improve in areas that he's not in Tri-State. Father Cobra went up a decent amount. James Diaz not as much as what I'd like. And Zippy. Zippy went up decently. I think Zippy and Justice should be good to start having his angles and things like that. But that leads us to it. It is now time to do the blacklist exemption. Wow. Huh. So, Dominic DeGraff or Howard Mad Mort? Howard Mad Mort, Dominic DeGraff. Howard Mad Mort, Dominic DeGraff. Howard Mad Mort. Okay. So, Whitehorse Whitaker, his popularity, we kind of, you know, buried him. He is now joining the blacklist and will be gone, as well as I thought that said Buzzry Bull Wrecker, where he still has some popularity, and he still has time to do something with our company. If you look at his stats, he obviously has decent stats. Where honestly, psychology is an important one to me with our young company. I'm worried about psychology being developed, but definitely in this game. But it is what it is. I don't think he won he won like one match, and I think it was Kip Keenan getting a pin. Now the important thing here is this: Dominic DeGraff and Howlin Mad Mort. So let's look here. Experience: Dominic DeGraff is 8 to Howlin Mad Mort 79. Psychology: Howlin Mad Mort gets the edge in just about everything at all. There's not one thing that, well, stamina and athleticism probably will be an edge to Dominic DeGraff. Uh, wow. So with that, I think it only makes sense to keep Howlin' Mad Mort and see if we can recover him. In ring, nothing fancy. Dominic DeGraff was going to be cut in December if things worked out the way I wanted. So to kind of save Howland Mad Mort and lose Whitehorse Whitaker, interesting. I think that's going to be more interesting to book him as a singles act than Dominic DeGraff, which we just don't have the time to. What the would do would be is keep Dominic DeGraff, turn him heel on Deaver Arnold and Egon, and then yeah, sink or swim. I just don't think his stats are any good. He's gone. It is what it is, and Howland Mad Mort lives another day. Wow. Um, that's it. We have 34 workers on our roster. Uh, sorry, neighbor's dog. Supermassive Destroyer. Let's check in on our boy. He. Let's see his stats. I guess that's really what matters. Experience still hasn't gone up. Respect hasn't gone up. I don't know. We'll see. He still has another year and a half to return to us. I'm very excited about the size. And let's see here. So Jasmine Sanders, TCW commentator, left the company. She is now available. Thinking about bringing her in. Maybe it's like a woman's commentator to create a different style to give somebody else a chance. But let's check here the unemployed. As you know, normally when I let go of people, I will try to sign replacements. And there's a couple different options. Ace Youngblood, pretty decent stats, has the tag specialist attribute. ADV, Antonio Delvalco, ready-made gimmick. He is an Italian New Yorker. Decent stats, really good psychology. I mean, really good stats, I'd say. So let's go ahead here because there is some people who are international. We're not doing that yet. Ben Williams. We have a spot for another lightweight, so maybe he fits that. Bradford. So Bradford, uh, Pivero, and Zippy DeVero. I mean, that's good. Whatever. We have Young and Wasted with Brett Kyle and Taylor Norton. Canadian Crusher, whose star quality went up somehow. Huh. Oh. Maybe that is a sign that we give him a shot. Stats just suck, but I mean, that's like, I haven't really paid attention enough to see when star quality goes up this organically. If like that's alright, do it now. When you can, we have Cerberus, who ready-made popular, amazing menace. I mean, 100 is 100, and fits that company of what we're looking for. Um, Clip Conduit, not worried about the old, none of these guys. Hammer Hadley, young, decent enough in the ring, but not really interested. So what I'm thinking about doing Haas Handley and Joffy Lane, creating like a tag team, babyface tag team with them, and ultimately could lead to Haas, like turning on Joffy and things like that, just to get them introduced. Jason Patterson, not really too interested in Jerry Pepper. I do look at them. I look at this a lot, just to see of who has a possibility to be character. So Jerry Pepper, 24, really good. Um, Microphone ability possibly. I mean, honestly, really good enough. In-ring potential, so he's on the list. Joffy Lane, he's somebody I want to sign, going to sign, just finding the right time. Right now, he's better off as a babyface. We are pushing Kip Keenan, and so when we have Kip Keenan over to a degree, we then can start bringing like a Joffy Lane to do it. Juggernaut Jones, another monster heel, but this one has the explosive ring style attribute, which means his matches under 10 minutes are a little bit better. Um, but a penalty and bouts, okay. When they're allowed to dominate a match, so, and a squash master. So, whenever he like just straight up, like if he dominates a match, should be a decent pop. Kind of like a Ryback is what I'd say. Onslaught, still have that lightweight gap, and he pretty good in ring. Pepper Pelton, young guy who's a project, but we're not really looking for projects now. Perry Longstaff, who left, I think he was, no, he's an IPW. Nonetheless, he has a tag specialist attribute, decent stats here, potentially decent stats here. I'm more interested in him right now than I think I would be um, the Young and Wasted, although he is kind of seems like lightweight for life. Quentin Queen. Talk about characters, a eccentric, a gold dust almost. Not I don't no, not even that, but I don't want to say a Boy George either. Uh, like a Buddy Rogers style flamboyant baby or not babyface heel makes sense. Ray Cavallero, another project. Rain Man. He's somebody I typically signed. Has um, popularity already set. He is going to be in our company eventually, just don't know when. Remy Honeyman, decent enough stats. He's a jobber with the entertainment stats. Rob Reynolds, I don't know, potential, but yeah, and 33, so we still have a year or two, I think, really to really worry about him. Rocky Weatherford, left SWF, decent across the board. Doesn't excel in one thing, but decent in everything. Roger Montero, pretty decent, above average across the board. Again, a lightweight, high flyer, who maybe if we brought him, can talk him increasing the size, which help out his star quality a bit. So he is a possibility, but again, he's a ready-made babyface, um, which I think the heel side we're looking for heels in that mid card level, because it's been the same. Sean Noggin, not really much star quality, not much in regards to entertainment ability. The Historian, not much as regard to entertainment ability of what I liked, but decent star quality, decent in-ring stats. Tommy Cornell, I wish. Tyron Gray, no entertainment ability, decent stats. USA Ace, potentially some entertainment ability, pretty decent stats. And then Wild Red Stallion, don't even know why he's. Let's just get rid. Yeah. So that is like the short list of workers we can bring in right now. I mean, there's others, but that's like who I'm looking at first, and then if there's nothing I like there, I'll look more. I'm probably, when I skip to the end of the month here, gonna look again, since we got time. But let me know if those characters, like, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be ahead, but let me know, like, who you would sign, and if any of these people, like, I always sign Ben Williams and push him as this, or I always sign Clip Conduit and kind of push him as this. Um, but that's it. That's gonna be a longer episode. And I think it's just because we went through those breakdowns. And we start next episode with a really big angles, really big matches. So let me know what you're thinking of the series so far. Talk to you next. Sorry, hiccups and yawns. See you next time. Later.